Welcome to subramani.com. Of all the people that I have read in equity management, there is no one single person whom I feel that this person has not made any mistake or this person is such a genius. Because when you track a person through his or her lifetime, you will find that there have been many mistakes. Like, for example, Sir Isaac Newton is easily a very famous physicist, but you also need to realize that he was in the right country, which celebrated him so much. He got so much publicity, right? There are many other inventions which just didn't get a mention. Enough calculus has been spoken about in India, right? But much prior to Newton, but none of it got that kind of publicity. Remember, the history is written by the white man, so he has only written well about himself and he's written nothing about the others. So having said that, why am I talking about that in investing? Welcome to subramani.com again. Just to remind you that you're in an investment space and not in calculus. So let us look at various things which you are being told today by the press. How many shares should you hold in your portfolio, or how many schemes should you own in your portfolio? Believe me, the jury is out, but there is no one single answer. Do what suits you. Don't get pulled in by theories. It doesn't matter. The concentration of assets is what has created wealth for a Nazim Premji or for a Mukesh Ambani. They did not copy each other. Mukesh Ambani didn't say, oh my God, Azim Premji is making money in Wipro, let me buy Wipro. Or say, okay, let me sell off all my oil assets and put it in telecom. He didn't do any of this stuff. So look at Mukesh Ambani's portfolio, it is pretty varied. He's got retail, he's got oil, he's got telecom, right? And within telecom, he has very nicely created a information business. So you have to also know how to use all that, right? Just laying down the pipeline doesn't matter. Hindustan Lever, for example, has laid down a beautiful pipeline. It can sell anything it wants. It can sell milk, it can sell butter, it can sell wheat, it can sell a roti. If it can sell bread, right? The same pipeline is being used for everything, and it's an amazing company, right? Now, look at your own portfolio. How can it follow a rule which somebody else has made? For example, you could have a Samir Arora, Naren, and Prashant Jain, each managing a portion of your wealth and each doing well and each being market cap agnostic and just saying, look at the absolute returns that I will get you over 5 years, 7 years or 10 years. But even they will ask for a very clear period. When you yourself can't answer any of these questions, how will you be able to answer how many shares should be there in your portfolio or how many schemes should be there? Remember, our regulator has ensured that there is a whole tamasha of large cap, mid cap, giant cap, small cap, micro cap. There is absolutely nothing to say when one performs, the other won't perform. You can just take past data and plot even pigs versus pig iron, right? So this is just data manipulation which is being thrown at you, saying, look, in this period this worked, in this period this worked. How does it really matter later on, right? If you had told me beforehand that this is what will work, then it's a different thing. Nobody is capable of doing that. So all those experts are now saying, see how gold has worked. Fine, but the question is, did you tell me in, say, January that I should have been in gold? Because you didn't know about this, or maybe even earlier, November, did you tell me that? The answer is no. So we do not know that. The other worry which I find for people is trying to predict where the market will go after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years. In spite of the fact that none of us have ever been able to predict correctly, right? In 2002, I did not expect the market to reach 21,000 in 2007, right? Index was at 2,000. From 2,000 to 21,000 is 10 times. Right, 10 times in a matter of 5 years. It just didn't ring a bell. None of us could think of that kind of number. So if somebody had told me, I would have put a bet saying, boss, ye nahi hoga, so let me take a bet, and I would have lost it. So the question is, it's amazing skill that we lived through that phase without selling off everything and saying, oh my God, sab bech dena chahiye. But there is somebody who bought and somebody who sold. Who bought? The Gora bought. The white man or the FII, as we call him, bought and bought and bought, and who sold was the Indians. What did the Indians do? The Indians reallocated. Reallocated means they sold equity and they bought gold. The white man who came just took over all the companies. So the best Indian companies today have 50% or 70% of Gora holding, right? White holding, or the FII holding. That's happening, right? So when you don't know how the market will go when going forward, there is absolutely no reason to worry, because to make money in the long run, you do not need to know how the market is going to behave on a day-to-day basis in the short run. They are two completely different animals, right? Like a guy running the marathon is not the same guy who's running a sprint. Sure, the guy running the marathon can also try the sprint, but his timing will be pathetic. Similarly, a guy running the 100 meters dash may not be able to complete the marathon in some nice timing. He'll be able to complete it, but not in some 2 hour 10 minutes or that kind of timing, right? So look at how. What you really need to look at is, are you able to meet your goals, or are you worried that you won't be able to meet your goals, which means you're not sleeping well at night. That is bad, right? So if many investors fancy themselves to be long-term investors, but only till the next drop. When the market drops, they suddenly panic and they will not know what to do, and they will say, yeah, mine is long term, I don't have to worry. But they'll turn behind you and sell it and say, I was hoping to buy it back at a lower price. All these things will happen. Dealing with these people is not easy. So that is, you yourself or your advisor, whoever it is, has to deal with these kind of uncertainties. So that is not easy. That is far more difficult. Those are the things that you learn from the master investors like Phil Fisher, Ken Fisher, or Peter Lynch. Emotion management is far more important, because you are not even reporting to anybody. Whereas a fund manager at least has somebody to talk to, somebody to report to. You don't have anybody. So you go around talking to people who know half of what you know, or maybe a quarter of what you know. That can cause a lot of damage, right? Playing the market by trading is a great thing to do. Sorry. But not many of us are capable of doing this. So we keep pretending that speculation is wrong. Completely, I don't agree. It is the speculator who provides us with all the liquidity that we need. So there will always be a set of traders, set of investors, and there is nothing to say that you cannot sit in both the boats on different days, right? Make sure you do all these things, and then let's take it forward later. Thank you.